What is your biggest fear when you think about losing people in your life? Whether it's your partner, your loved ones, your friends, your kids. Sometimes when we raise our awareness and we stop being people pleasers, we start to lose people around us. So let's dive into how to stop being convenient and how to stop being a people pleaser. Let's go. Very often, we may notice that people pleasers, they're very convenient. They're very convenient for the people around them. Even I notice that when I raise my kid, it's kind of convenient when they listen to you, when they do what you want, when they, don't defy you and they don't talk back. And we slowly start to shape them. I'm talking this from the mom's side, right? We start to shape them into the person we want to see so that it's convenient to us. However, I do that because that's exactly how I was raised. And that's exactly what I need to work through. So when I stopped being a people pleaser, what happened? The first thing that happened is I started to lose people around me. My friends, some of my loved ones, they started to notice the difference. And that's the biggest fear that gets triggered. When a person starts to, for example, stand up for themselves, to show up for themselves, they start to confront, right, to protect their identity, their confidence, their self-esteem, they start to notice that people kind of, step back. And the fears get triggered. And these are the basic fears. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of loneliness, fear of abandonment, fear of losing people, fear of being alone. And that means that I'm rejected. And if I'm rejected, I'm not good enough. So everything goes right deep into the core limiting belief from our childhood. So how, when, and where we become convenient. And convenient means we start to please people. We start to reject ourselves and start to do what other people want. And we start to apologize for the things that we didn't do. You might have noticed, if you have that tendency to people please, that we always apologize, overthink what we said. If we had a communication, a conversation with a person, we start to put the blame and guilt on ourselves and overthink whether I said the right thing. Did I say it right? Was that the intonation that was needed in that communication? We start to overthink, and that creates tension. For subconscious mind, there is only relaxation and tension. Two things, right? And when you're always in tension, you might not even notice that. So, for example, if you have people in stress or people in fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of failure, they're always tense. And when you're always tense, you might not notice it, even for a couple of years, until the body starts to show the symptoms. Either it's a burnout, maybe it's an exhaustion, maybe it's, physical symptoms, fatigue, lack of energy, other physical illnesses that might, autoimmune disease, by the way, also, right, can be from rejecting ourselves and being tense all the time, because the hormones, they tend to adapt to what your current condition is. So when we come into this world as children, we believe that we are enough, everything is available to us. And we start to act based on what we want and what we desire, not based on what family decided or family dynamic. And the parents or caregivers or people that play a big role in your life might start to shape you. As a child, your mind is very flexible, very flexible. It's like Play-Doh, right? And that mind can start to doubt. That mind, the child's mind, can start to doubt, be confused, be conflicted, right? Until they form a new belief that I am not enough and I need to do everything possible to fit into the group of people, especially my family. So what phrases usually, right, people, caregivers, parents, teachers, coaches use in order, or even our partners in the future, use to manipulate us, to shape us into being convenient, being user-friendly, right? Or people pleasers. For example, that's all in your head. If you've heard that, that's all in your head. Oh, don't make it a big deal. So the child start to doubt. For them, for the child, it's a big deal. But when someone tells you, no, it's not a big deal. Oh, it's all in your head, All of these phrases, they bring the child to start to doubt their ability to judge the world. And they start like, oh, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right? And the first couple of times, it's not that noticeable. But the more you hear that, the more the child starts to doubt and start to form a new belief that, oh, okay, maybe that's right. Maybe it's all my fault. Especially blaming, criticism, judgment, right? They all confuse the child's mind, and the child mind only works on emotions and feelings. And in that specific moment, when the child forms the belief that I have to do everything possible in order to fit into this group, the child starts to please. I'm going to neglect my own needs and I'm going to please everyone. Because if I don't, I'm rejected. And I cannot be rejected because for a child, being rejected means not surviving. And the mind's job is to keep you alive all the time, to keep you alive on this planet. Because if the body lives, the mind lives as well. And the mind can connect that rejection is actually the end of life, not surviving. And you might think that, oh, well, I'm 45 or I'm an adult now, right? I don't have to think about it now. It was long ago. Why am I still doing that, even though I know how things are right now? I can judge better, right? I can have critical thinking. I can be more logical or analytical. I understand so much more. Well, logic is a little part of your mind. The subconscious mind doesn't understand time. So while you understand that you grew up, the mind is still stuck in I am 10, or I'm 8, or I'm 5, or I'm 12, or 13. What happens when the child's mind starts to get confused and starts to people please, to please parents first, right? To please friends, sometimes siblings even, right? Sometimes we are bullied by our siblings. That's also possible. And we start to please in order not to protect ourselves. The first we form is the confusion of the mind. Then the inner conflict happens, right? So that we want something, but we cannot have it. We want to be ourselves, but we cannot be ourselves. That's what happens, the conflict, this confusion. And then the helplessness comes because we are out of control. There is nothing we can do. We are dependent. We have no choice or not a lot of choices. We have no voice. We cannot stand up for ourselves. We cannot protect ourselves. And if there is no one around us to protect us, we start to believe, no one can help me. I'm all by myself in this situation. So hopelessness and helplessness. Hopelessness comes into the child's mind when they start to people please or be convenient. And by the way, that person who is a people pleaser, convenient, they are a target for manipulators and narcissists. It's a target. It's like a perfect victim for them because they can shape. These people already have been shaped into people pleasing. So now it's only a job of a manipulator to shape it even more, to devaluate that psyche even more. So when we start to do that, right, we start to believe that because we are in our subconscious mind as kids, our mind believes that that's going to be like that forever. The biggest, most harmful, limiting belief. It's going to be like that forever and it's never going to change. Every child, and I work with children, and children usually say that. I feel like it's going to be like that forever. Even when people go into the relaxed state, into hypnosis, they also feel like nothing can change. That's not going to change. So how can you stop being convenient? Because when we started to fight for our survival by pleasing people in childhood, rejecting ourselves, it's okay when we are kids. It kind of helps us and we still have inner resources. But when we grow up, that starts to play a huge, harmful impact on our life because we start to be depressed, be frustrated, sometimes anger issues. Sometimes we can get unhealthy habits like sugar cravings, binge eating, right? To suppress, to numb that sadness inside, that self-rejection. What can you do now? What can you do now? Now that you realize that, oh yeah, okay, I'm a people pleaser, but what can I do? Well, the first thing you need to do is, number one, write down the price you are paying for pleasing other people. Not pleasing people doesn't mean that you don't respect them at all. Because very often we might have that belief that if I don't please people, that means I'm not respectful. No. That's also the belief that we formed in childhood. That if I'm not pleasing someone, if I'm not apologizing 2,500 times, that means I'm not respectful. That's not true. So that's the belief of a child, and you're not a child anymore. Or even if you have a child and you want to help your kid to stop being a people pleaser, right? This video might help you. So you first write down, what price are you paying for pleasing other people? And you don't think about it in your head. You take a piece of paper and you actually write it down. The price that I'm paying for pleasing other people is, I cannot be myself. I cannot express what I feel. I cannot, share my ideas because I believe they will be rejected, right? I get under control of manipulators a lot. I'm in a narcissistic relationship, and that actually suppresses me even more. I have these and these physical symptoms. I overthink, I doubt, I get overwhelmed. I have lots of guilt and shame. And remember, guilt, shame, and blame. It's like you're drinking a poison. And you're drinking the poison, slowly poisoning your inner world. So write down all of the things that you get from pleasing people. And then on the other side, write down what benefits you get. And usually the only benefit will be, well, they're not rejecting me. I kind of fit in. But fitting in, you are actually struggling and suffering even more. Because when you start to show up for yourself, when you start to stand up for yourself, when you express your feelings and emotion and what you think from your heart, some people may, disappear from your life or tell you that, oh, you've changed and I don't want to be with you, for example, or I don't want to be your friend, whatever it is. But you close that door and the new door opens. And then you find the people that, resonate with you. They're actually, they feed your confidence. They boost your confidence. They praise you. They support you. They understand you. And you have what you want. You have the circle of friends, circle of people around you that you feel so confident. You feel like yourself. Because people pleasing is not being yourself. It's actually going away from being yourself. Number two, usually when we people please and we feel guilt about, overthinking our conversations, trying to guess what other people think, we blame, we put the guilt on ourselves, and that's the self-punishment. So you write down or you think about that moment. When did you decide to punish yourself? Punishment is one of the biggest role functions and purposes of different issues in our life. For example, skin picking, fears, phobias could be a punishment, could be a self-punishment. Excess weight as well could be a punishment. When we are in an abusive relationship, that could be a punishment as well. We punish ourselves for something. What are you punishing yourself for? Which means that you think that you made a mistake or it's your fault, right? Then you need to work on that guilt and shame because nothing that you did was your fault. We work, remember about the rule of your mind. The mind does the best based on the experiences it has at that moment. The mind doesn't know consequences. The subconscious mind doesn't understand that, oh, in the future I'm going to struggle or in the future it's going to be harmful for me. No, the conscious mind, thinks about right now and right here and doesn't think about consequences. So when did you decide to punish yourself? So that's number two. Number three, realize, right, that if you started to show up for yourself, to stand up for yourself, or you said something that you always wanted to say, you need to be consistent with that. It's a power of consistency, right? Once you raise your awareness, raise your self-esteem and self-worth, think about consistency. You need to be consistent to build the new habit. And once you build the habit, it becomes automatic, it becomes easier. The subconscious mind now switches people pleasing to feeling confident, feeling self-worth, feeling deserving of everything, right? So you switch, and it's possible because your mind is flexible, and it retains the flexibility till you die, till the very old age. Remember that. It may take longer, but it still retains the flexibility. Number 4, work on underlying fears. If you have a fear of abandonment, where did you put the happiness in someone else's hands? Very often you can hear two partners, and they talk between each other, and one say, I cannot live without you. I wouldn't survive without you. That's it. If you die, I die. If you leave me, I die. Right? So these phrases, right, they're very strong, and we need to realize that we came into this world by ourselves. So you need to be comfortable being by yourself. The biggest, I would say, the biggest knowledge that you can get, the biggest realization, aha moment, insight that you can get into in your life is realizing that you are okay. You will be okay by yourself. And when you learn to be okay by yourself, you'll draw amazing people into your life. Confident people who are confident and who are okay to be by themselves as well. So learn that being alone doesn't mean being lonely, because you always have yourself. So, and number 5, use the power of your subconscious mind. Learn about your mind, because your subconscious, you can direct your subconscious mind to give you what you want. So auto-suggestions, affirmations, meditations, right? Doing different types of healings will help you uncover these underlying fears and resolve them, because these fears, while they played some role in your life in childhood, they don't help you anymore. And you start to go away from people pleasing, personality. You're going to the, feeling worthy, feeling alive, feeling like yourself. And that's the best role you can play. So I hope that helps you. I hope that helps you understand why we become convenient, when we became, who shapes us into being convenient and user-friendly. And if you like more of these videos, you can find more in the section in the YouTube videos, and subscribe to my channel, like it, write what you would like to hear, what you would like to watch, what you would like to know about more, and I will definitely make that video for you. Thank you. Bye.